Guess what day it is, y'all? Yeah, today is Monday. And we back at it again for another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. So come on in. This week, we'll be reading Love and Gospel Music. What's wrong with telling the damn truth? By your author, Mr. Timothy Blaine. Y'all head on over to Amazon.com and get your books. Download it on your Kindle or just order the paperback. Come on and support our authors, y'all. Love and gospel music. But is it really about love and gospel music? We over here reading, y'all. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe to Almond Brown everywhere. Check the description box to get all the links to his book and also to Mr. Timothy Blaine's YouTube channel. We almost reading, y'all. Are you ready? It's that time. Shh. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner, where we will continue our read of Love and Gospel Music, honey. What's wrong with telling the damn truth? By yours truly, Mr. Timothy Blaine. I hope you guys have had a wonderful Monday. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend, and the start of your work week has been wonderful, or the ending for those of you that work the weekend shift. But yeah, so we're going to continue our read. We know last week that Dwayne and Joey, baby, they were ready to build their house. They gave money to the church and they moved into a new building. You know, they had to get out of that old raggedy building. And we know Brother Johnny, a.k.a. J Dog Diddy, he done got his life together, y'all. So he's been to seminary school and now he's up there saying a prayer and reading the scriptures and stuff. And, you know, I think he's on his way to becoming a big preacher. So we shall see, but we will be on chapter 11 tonight rather. So hopefully we can get through maybe half of chapter 12, because chapter 12, we'll see. We shall see. Chapter 11. Look, we are on chapter 11, right? Child. Anyways, 5 years later, better or worse? I now pronounce you man and wife, said Pastor Mike, beaming from the pulpit that both he and Johnny had built by hand. The former pastor was so very proud of his young prodigy. It was as if Johnny was his own son. Pastor, you may kiss your bride. Johnny kissed his new bride, formerly known as Cynthia Robinson of Bakersfield, California. Ladies and gentlemen, said Pastor Mike to the large crowd filling every seat at One Love Church, I give you Pastor and First Lady John William Brown. It was a beautiful ceremony, made even more special because Pastor Mike and his wife were able to fly in from Atlanta. Grandma, my sister Sarah, and her husband were able to come in as well. Our mother, she couldn't make it, but she sent a card and $25. Child. This, of course, seemed like one more slap in the face to me, but Johnny didn't seem to care, and in fact, relieved by our mother's predictable no-show. Cynthia is a beautiful, spiritual, and highly intelligent woman. I know that she'll make Johnny a great wife, and I'm hoping that they'll be fruitful and multiply. Their children will be about as close as I'm ever going to have to get to having my own kids. Sarah and her husband have twin girls, but they live so far away. And I'm not at all sure that I like that man of hers. Something about the way he looks at me. Johnny had met Cynthia in his second year in seminary. He was in a master's program, and she was in a master's program, and he was not. Nevertheless, they seem the perfect match. No doubt they'll be co-pastors at some point, but I'm really hoping that they'll have those babies first. Johnny has been senior pastor at One Love for a little over a year. Pastor Mike had been forced to pass the baton to Johnny after his wife had been diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer and chose to live out her final days in her native Atlanta. It was awful and so sudden when they opted to leave LA and the church that they had been building. At first, Johnny was very shaky and unsure of himself, but in only a year's time, he has gotten his footing and earned the full support of the congregation. I could tell that Pastor Mike was very proud of his young prodigy. The pastor passionately loved and painfully missed the church that he had founded in a little overheated storefront several years earlier. But in his own words, God knew what was going to happen in the life of my beautiful wife and I. In his awesome wisdom, he prepared a servant, the right servant, to move this wonderful ministry forward. Johnny had come a long way in a relatively short time. This was the handiwork of God Almighty, and only God could do what was done in the case of my brother. The anointing was resting so heavily on Johnny's head that I could almost physically see it. I could hardly believe that after all these years, my grandmother was actually staying in a hotel just a few blocks away from me. As far as I know, this was as far away from Cincinnati she'd ever been. Of course, I wanted so badly for her to stay here in the house with me, but there was just too much to explain. No, I still hadn't had that conversation with my grandma or anybody else in my family, except Johnny, of course, even though I am now 32 years old. I'm sorry, but I just don't see the point in it. We don't even live in the same part of the country. Maybe she knows anyway. She had stopped asking me when I was first going to get married years ago. At first, I thought about just putting all three of them on the second floor with me, and Johnny could sleep in the guest room downstairs. Joy would have understood and done that for me, but that would do nothing towards explaining his house. Not exactly the kind of digs you'd expect a full-time choir director with a part-time salary to live in. God has certainly been good to Joey and me. A 4-bedroom, custom-built home in the Hollywood Hills? Of course, where we really wanted to build was on that beautiful piece of land overlooking the cliffs in the Malibu that we had both been dreaming about. But when Joey acquired about that price, we both had to laugh out loud. And the price, as outrageous as it was, didn't even include the house. Well, it all worked out fine. We've got a beautiful home, a swimming pool, 2 dogs, and a cat. It seems a shame that I can't invite my favorite relatives into my home, but I know my grandma. She would even be comfortable if Joy was a woman. Grandma saw cohabitation in 2 ways. Either you were living in marriage or you're living in sin. No much better to just avoid the subject of anything unholy until my grandma got back on that plane. Well, that sure was a beautiful ceremony, she said. Wasn't it, son? She's a great woman, Grandma, I said. Johnny could have done a whole lot worse than Cynthia. Family seems nice too. They're both professors. Her older brother is in the ministry. Baptist? Methodist? Oh no, said Grandma, clutching the pearl necklace I had given her the previous year. Why didn't anybody tell me? Grandma, I said, knowing the way her mind works, don't start. My grandmother didn't have much to say to people that weren't Baptists. Well, I just want the children to be raised right, Dwayne. And right, of course, means Baptist. The girl, she said, she's coming over to our side, right? Grandma, you need to quit, I scolded. Besides, our church is non-denominational. Maybe we should talk about something else. I was really hoping that I could finally hear that boy preach in person. I must be getting old. I forgot all about the honeymoon. They'll be on a ship headed for Hawaii in a little less than 3 hours, I said, moving towards the door. I better leave so you guys can freshen up. We're all meeting at the loading dock in exactly 2 hours. I'll pick you up out front in 1. Suddenly, tears are running through her makeup. I handed her the complimentary box of tissues supplied by the hotel. Forgive an old woman, Dwayne. It's just that I'm so happy right now. I know that you are, Grandma. God has chosen to bless his family with growth once again, and shown favor to Johnny in particular. Can you believe he's actually the senior pastor of a church like ours? It's a beautiful building, son. And that music department, the good Lord has done good by you too. Tell me something, Dwayne. That friend of yours, Sarah. Sarah says that he's a big. We'll talk later, Grandma. Time's running out. I'll meet you out front in an hour. I had just wormed out of what might have been the perfect opportunity to discuss Joey and me. Maybe it was cowardice of me. Or maybe I just thought that the timing was a little off. What with us rushing to see Johnny off and all. Either way, I had escaped. But if I knew my grandmother, she was by no means finished with that conversation. Grandma could be like an old dog with a bone. And now that she's gotten a whiff of Joey, she's not likely to let him go. This shouldn't be such a big deal to me, of course. After all, I am a 32-year-old man. Except, it is a big deal to me. My grandmother is one of the few people in the world that still holds the power to hurt me deeply. It's because I actually care what she thinks of me. While at the same time, I know that at least half of the thoughts that run through her head are based squarely on her religious views. Now that was interesting, said Joey. What do you mean? I asked, knowing that something was wrong the moment I shut the door of the Corvette. I knew the look. Sitting separately, he said, face stern and serious, pretending we barely know each other, riding in separate cars. He had just picked me up in the parking lot of the motel where my family was staying. I was the best man, Joey. You know I had to sit up front. I could handle the sitting at separate tables at the reception, buying separate gifts, even dancing with the single women. But when you introduced me to your family as your ex-boss, I just think you were getting a little carried away, Dwayne. Don't you? Hey, this really hurt you, didn't it? I asked rhetorically, just realizing that I hadn't considered his feelings at all. We haven't even discussed how we would handle my family. There were tears in his eyes, and then they were running down his face. I'm so sorry, Joey. I wasn't thinking. I think you were thinking, Dwayne, he cried, wiping the tears from his face with the palm of his hand. I think you were thinking a whole lot. Okay, so I'm a coward when it comes to my family. But it's not just about me, Joey. Believe it or not, I was thinking more about you. Whether you want to accept it or not, you're a big celebrity now. Did you see how many cameras were clicking at the wedding and then outside of the church and all the way through the reception? One false move by either one of us and you'd find your face plastered all over the tabloids. This town pays a lot for this dirt. I paused and then went on. Babe, I really am sorry that all of this hurt you today. Joy, you've got to know that it hurts me as well. But you're the one that taught me all this stuff. You got to be discreet. It goes with the job and all that sorry ass bullshit, he said in almost a whisper. So maybe the job really sucks sometimes, Joey, I said, sensing that he had somewhat bought my excuse. What job doesn't? Pay is good, though, he said, his anger diffused now. Is that your perspective out here creeping back to the surface? You're still a coward. She's in her 70s, Joey. What difference could it possibly make to either one of us now? It makes a difference, he said. Trust me. Besides, I want to know your family. You and Johnny are like brothers, and now we've got Cynthia and hopefully more family on the way. The Ohio connection, said Joey, back to normal now. Your roots. You want to meet my mother? Very funny. Joey knew that I couldn't possibly be serious. Rocks would turn over into water before my mother would accept any part of our relationship, let alone actually meet him. What's so funny? There was a smile on my face and a pain in my gut. We could fly her down. Who knows? Maybe she even want to ride in the parade with us. Sarah knows, stated Joey, as if he knew this was true. Maybe. That husband of hers gives me creeps. Homophobe? Yeah, that boy has got a few other problems too. Seems a little angry to me. I just know that he better not ever put his hands on my little sister. Clergy or not, Johnny is not above flying back home just to lay hands on him. Okay. I assume you don't mean that in a biblical sense. You assume right. Well, at least I did finally get to meet Grandma Jones, said Joey. She's funny and quick. That's what I'm afraid of. Damn. Are you really so sure that she couldn't handle it, Dwayne? Maybe you're underestimating her. Maybe she liked to know that you're not alone. We were both wrong about how my mother would take it. My grandma put the R, the L, and the N in religion, I said knowingly. We're all Christians, Dwayne, but we don't all think the same way. Look, Joey, can we please change the subject? Just 2 more days and everything will be back to normal. I invited them to the house for dinner tonight, said Joey, visibly bracing himself for my reaction. You did what? I grabbed the top of the Corvette steering wheel, forcing Joy to swerve the car a bit and then put it to the side of the road. This is sure a beautiful home, young man, she said. Bless you for your hospitality. I don't think I've ever been in a house like this. So fancy, I mean. It sure is, Mr. White, said Sarah, scanning the beautiful room and touching the wall gently. Is this wallpaper real suede? My name is Joey, Sarah. Only strangers, salesmen, and bill collectors call me Mr. White. And I had a lot of help with the decor. It's called Ultra Suede, I said under my breath. What? Said Sarah. Well, obviously it can't be both wallpaper and real suede at the same time, Sarah, I said, trying not to sound too proprietary. It's either one or the other. I'm pretty sure they call this Ultra Suede. Let me take your jackets, said Joey, helping my grandma remove hers. Sorry, I didn't know you weren't expecting to need them here. Oh, no need to apologize for the weather, son, said Grandma, handing over her somewhat stylish hat as well. This is a whole lot better than we're used to, I tell you that. Dwayne tells me that this is the first time any of you have been in California. So, what do you think of what you've seen so far? I've been here a couple times, said Sarah's husband, Mark. First time in LA, though. I've got family in Oakland and Richmond. Oh, that's way to the north, Joe replied. California is divided into the north and the south, and there are a lot of differences, even down to the weather. But I must admit, I love it all. You from here, Joey? Asked Sarah. A native, I mean. Nah, I'm originally from New Orleans, said Joey. Came here right out of high school. Well, all I can say is that this place sure has been good to you, said Grandma. Sarah, would you look at that view? We all stepped down into the living room. The view from the wraparound windows truly was spectacular. Rows and patches of multicolored lights with sprinkles of illuminated swimming pools as far as the eye could see. So, you and Dwayne are good friends? Asked Grandma as she took a seat on the cream colored sofa sectional facing the softly illuminated windows and Joey. Yes, we're best friends, said Joey. Joey, I just heard one of the timers, I said quickly. You better check that meat. I think that is very generous of you to let my grandson stay here until his apartment is finished, said Grandma, fixing her eyes on Joey again. That is such a Christian thing to do. We should all help and encourage each other. I told Grandma all about the earthquake proofing of my apartment building, Joey. I said, a bead of sweat forming just behind my hairline. Can't wait till it's all back in order. Dwayne, you still got that stutter? Asked Grandma, a little startled. Lord, have mercy. Boy, I haven't heard you talk like that in years. When Dwayne was a little boy, we could always tell when he was lying because he start, Granny, you're embarrassing him, said Sarah, coming to my rescue. Besides, Dwayne always had a little bit of a stutter, even when he wasn't. Who wants dessert? I asked, changing the subject abruptly, collecting the dinner plates. Is sweet potato or key lime pie? Well, now, that was certainly a great meal. Let's all toast our host for that fantastic meal, I said, standing to my feet and raising my glass toward Joey. Just wish we had more time. Busy day tomorrow. This has been just great. Sit down, Dwayne, said Grandma. Huh? I looked like a deer caught in the headlights, I'm sure. Or at least that's the way I felt. I said, sit down. We could barely taste the meal with the way you've been rushing us. Yeah, I still got pie in my mouth, said Sarah. How about some coffee? Asked Mark. Baby, just because I'm old doesn't mean I'm stupid, said Grandma, looking right through me. Why don't we toast both of our hosts? Grandma, I just stop while you're ahead, Dwayne, said Grandma. Next, your nose will be growing. I think that's a great idea, Mark, said Joey. Let's have some coffee. Will you help me? You've done enough, Joey, said Sarah. Mark and I will get the coffee. Take your time, said Grandma, peering over the top of her glasses. Well, I've got to say that you brought a lot of this on yourself, Dwayne, she said. Taking off the way you did. How were any of us ever supposed to learn anything about gay people if you weren't around to teach us, to show us? You never even gave us a chance, son. I was a kid, Grandma. The church, their ideas, they were Goliath to me. And then after what happened with Ben Nicholas, I always figured that had something to do with it, said Grandma. But remember, Dwayne, David did slay Goliath. A lot of people leave, Mrs. Jones, said Joey. Most of us leave. Well, I can certainly see that. And believe it or not, I can even understand why they do it, she said. But it seems to me that the only way anything is ever going to change is if somebody sticks around for the fight. Where would black folks as a race of people be if Martin and the others didn't teach us how to stand up and be seen? We're seeing plenty out here, Grandma. Trust me, I said. I just don't see how you never figured it out. How could you not know? Of course I knew, she said. Baby, I think I knew before you did. Or at least I had my suspicions. I have to admit that I was hoping and praying I was wrong. As quiet as it's kept, son, I think the whole family has known about you for a very, very long time. Of course, it's one of those things that no one dares to say out loud. That's partly your fault, Dwayne. Taking off the way you did. There's been no reason at all for any of us to grow up. You think Mama knows? I asked. Nah, that's a whole different conversation. But of course she knows. Dwayne, you're what, 32, 33 now? Still no wife or girlfriend? Denial or not, it's hard to get around that one. You think she cares one way or the other? Anyway, son, let's not dwell on the negative things. The point is that I'm here in your home now. I didn't have a heart attack, and now this business is finally out in the open. I can see that you're happy, and that makes me very happy. That was the big thing with me, baby. I just worried that you would never know happiness. Well, I was wrong about that. Thank goodness. And I'm glad that I was. I've got to tell you that I'm a little blown away by this, Grandma. I had a slight smile on my face. I was expecting a sermon. God never assigned me to be a judge, Dwayne. I'm just going to trust that He knows what He's doing. I know you well enough to know that you are not evil. There must be a reason for things being the way they are. You've grown and changed, Grandma. Not really. You're not a child anymore, Dwayne. It's likely that you will never know the responsibility of raising children. It is an awesome responsibility, son. If we could turn back the hands of time, I don't think that any of the people that poured into your life as a child will pour anything any different on these matters. But now we're all adults, and I think it's high time we start acting like it. How long has this been going on now? The two of you, I mean. 11 years, said Joey and me together. They used to sing together, Grandma, Sarah said, coming back into the room. Dwayne wrote some songs. Well, I did know about that, said Grandma. What has it been? 3 hit records now? They're called CDs now, Grandma. Actually, when I met Joey back in 79, he had already released his first one. Maybe they were called records then. Anyway, I didn't join him until after the second one was high up on the charts. Dwayne published his first song on the third CD, said Joey. 3 on the fourth, and now he's got 2 on the new project. What's that? When's that one coming out? X mark. About 6 weeks, said Joey. I'll give you guys some copies before you leave. Thanks, said Sarah as she turned to face me. Does that mean you'll be traveling again, Dwayne? I don't think so, I said. I gave that up years ago. It just wasn't for me. I've been writing lyrics with Joy for a while now, and you can hear me on pretty much all of the studio recordings. But my main job is here at the church. Choir director, said Grandma with pride, and you're doing a fine job, son. I couldn't have made up a story like this. You and your brother working together in the same ministry, a pastor and a minister of music? This is God's work. Weren't they always close, Mrs. Jones? Asked Joey. That they were, son, said Grandma. But just between us and the wallpaper, that boy Johnny Brown kept me up many a night. All of my prayers concerning that boy were just about keeping him out of jail or someplace a whole lot worse. J-Dog, said Joey. Huh? Grandma and Sarah asked in unison. Now that's a long story, I said. Someday you will hear Johnny preach on the subject of Mr. J. Dog Diddy. It's one of his best sermons. More like a testimony, said Joey. Anyway, it's a powerful story, I said, and I'm a living witness that every word is true. I'll look around. Maybe I've got a tape somewhere around here. The girl, asked Grandma rhetorically, she preaches too? Like she was born to do it, I said, with a little pride in my new sister. She's got a master of divinity. Wherever Johnny is weak, Cynthia is strong. She makes him work and study hard. All I can say is that times sure have changed, said Grandma. I was a grown woman before I even heard of a woman in the pulpit. Now they're all over the radio and the TV. I just hope that God is pleased, is all I can say. Maybe God never intended for everything to stay the same, Grandma, I said. Maybe it was always his intention that we should evolve. I'm 72 years old, Dwayne, she said, and for me, this world has already evolved more than enough. You young ones are going to have to take it from here. I just ask that you stay prayed up, and whatever you do, Dwayne, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. She means the Bible, Sarah said to everybody. That I do, said Grandma. I know that these new generations seem to go through a season of questioning the word and how it should be applied to life today. Now, maybe I was just naive, but I don't remember there being so much questioning in my day. The Bible was the word of God. End of story. Maybe we took things a little too literally, and maybe we didn't. All I know is that we're all still reading the same book. Lives are still being changed. Great multitudes of people from around the world are still coming to faith in Jesus Christ. Questions or not, the Bible has stood the test of time. Amen. Maybe it's just too much that we should expect to find all of the answers to life, God, and spiritual matters contained in such an ancient text. I don't remember it mentioning anything about drugs or pornography. But ask yourself, young people, where are you going to find anything closer to the truth? The truth is what makes us free. Go ahead and ask your questions, but don't underestimate the power of the authority of the most valued document known to mankind. Now there's my sermon, I said, my face lighting up, the tension of the earlier part of the evening gone. I miss you so much, Grandma. You're bringing back a lot of memories right now. We did have us a time back in the day. Now did we, son? So many wonderful conversations about the goodness of the Lord. But I'm not as young as I used to be, Dwayne. Now, I need to ask that you indulge an old woman. We've been up since 7 this morning. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandma, I said, checking my watch and realizing how long a day this must have been for a woman in her 70s. We need to get you back to the hotel. I'm the one that chose to stay, son, she said, working her way up unassisted from a low sitting sofa in our living room. But I'm glad that I did. And I'm glad that we finally had this conversation. Yeah, me too, I blurted out, blurted Mark as he reached for my grandma's hand. I mean, excuse me. I'm glad I came here too. I've got this cousin, Tony. I haven't spoken to him in years. I need to call him. Now you see how the Lord is always working, said Grandma. It was sure nice meeting you, Joey. You're such a nice young man. And that voice? Nice to finally meet you as well, ma'am. Sarah, Mark, let me get you guys that CD. Don't forget to sign them, yelled Sarah as Joey left the room. Hello, Dwayne. It was Peggy, the head nurse at Murphy House. He's gone, baby. Journal entry 2011, April 21st, 1990. Holy God, Father, what a day it has been. The old people used to say that the bad news comes in threes, but my prayer for today is that they were all superstitious and wrong. We buried Terry Baxter today. I'm just so happy that he was such an active member of the church towards the ends of his life. If that were not the case, I don't think there would have been more than just a few of us in attendance. What manner of people was that poor man born to, Father? Nothing. Absolutely no response from his family concerning his passing. Nurse Peggy told me that Terry was adamant that he didn't want his family notified, and she promised him that she wouldn't. Well, she broke her promise, and she said she was sorry that she did. She told me that not only did the family not want the body flown home for the burial, but Terry's mother had actually hung up on her. And these are the people that have the nerve to call themselves Christians. You know your creation, Lord, and I know that you are not surprised or amazed at the depth of our depravity, but I am forever being astonished. I only thank you for the millionth time for your patience in dealing with us and for allowing this world to go on as long as it has in spite of us. Terry is there with you now, somewhere in a different dimension. Lord, I can't even begin to imagine what that must be like, but everything in me tells me that he's infinite in an infinitely better place. If that is not so, then my faith means nothing, because it does mean something. Because in fact, it means everything. I know that my friend Terry Baxter is finally at peace. There's no question that my faith gives me a comfort at times like this. Lord, but nevertheless, I can't escape the sadness of the passing of another human being. I ask for your mercy in dealing with his parents. And then, just as I was about to curl up in my bed and rest my heavy heart, I got that awful phone call. Hello? Is this Dwayne? Yes. You don't know me, but if you value your relationship, you better find out what's going on in Seattle. What? Who is this? What the hell are you talking about? Let's just say that I'm a friend of a friend. You don't sound like any friend to me, I said, my forehead and toes beginning to moisten rapidly. Why are you calling my house? What the hell do you want? I'm sorry. The phone went dead. Flight 1406 to Seattle, Washington is now boarding at gate 34. Journal entry 2012, April 22nd, 1990. Bless your father. Oh God, what am I doing here on this plane? I know that I should be at home calling Joey. Since the beginning, he has never given me any reason not to trust him. Yet here I am, responding so urgently to what was probably just some nut on the phone. What kind of person would make such a call? I know that Joey has fans, and I've heard about how crazy they can be, but this makes no sense at all. Why should they be calling me? And how would such a person get a hold of our home phone number? Joey is very discreet in his public life. Yet, not only did this person know my name and our home phone number, They seemed not at all surprised that at first I was a man, or second, that Joey and I lived together. It's got to be somebody much closer to us than the general public. Yet, I was sure that I had never heard that voice before. Seemed kind of young to me, much younger than anybody from our inner circle. Maybe it was a fan. Well, whomever it was, I feel compelled to find out exactly what this is all about. Of course, if this is just some wild goose chase or figment of some fans' overactive imagination, Joey is going to be hurt at first, and then very, very angry. It is wrong for me to be doing this, Lord. I mean, what can I possibly hope to gain by showing up in Seattle in the middle of the night unannounced? I feel like a character out of a B movie or a TV soap opera. But still, I feel compelled. There's been something bothering me for a while now. It all started when Joey introduced me to that new soprano. Something about that way the queen looked at me. Of course, Joey has worked with all kinds of singers and musicians, both male and female, over the years. And many were pretty soft on the eyes. But somehow, I've never thought twice about it. No, Lord, there's just something about this particular one that makes me very uncomfortable. For one thing, he can't sing. For another, why does he have to be so darn young? I mean, everybody on the tour, including Joey, is hovering somewhere around 40, and this new boy is 22 years old. Joey assures me that I'm wrong about the voice, that it's just the newness of it that makes it seem odd. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I wasn't about to argue with Joey about his ear or about his business, but I've heard more than my share of bad sopranos in my time. This new kid is one of the worst. What makes me so uncomfortable, and perhaps is the primary reason that I'm sitting on this plane right now, is that I can't for the life of me wrap my head around why Joey should be covering or making excuses for this dude. If there is one thing that Joey White is serious about, it is his music. Why would he be dragging around somebody who's more than likely singing into a dead microphone? Well, now that I see it in print, maybe I am just letting my imagination run wild. I mean, why would his record label, his agent, the managers, and everybody with an interest in making the tour a success put up with such nonsense? If Joey wanted to cheat on me, it would be a whole lot simpler and a lot less public than this, I'm sure. Maybe I'm just jumping to the wrong conclusion altogether. The voice on the phone said nothing about Gary. That's the boy's name. If Joey is being a dog with somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean that the other dog is a tone deaf Gary Black. Still, I can't help but think that something is not quite right. The phone call was only confirmation of something that's been scratching just under the surface of my consciousness for months now. Bang, bang. No response. Bang, bang, bang. No response. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. Who is it? Joey's voice groggy on the other side of the hotel room door. What's going on? Room service, I answered, standing to the left side of the peephole. We didn't order anything, yelled Joey at the room service waiter. It's 2 o'clock in the damn morning. A special tray sent over by Global Records, sir, I said, using a very impressive falsetto I sometimes use when a choir was short of tenor, further disguised by a damp towel I had taken from a nearby service cart. I'm going to need you to sign for it. What? Joey flung the door open. I pushed past him. You said we, Joey. You want to tell me who the hell we is? I asked as I made my way to the bedroom door. There was no one there. I flung the door open to the bathroom. There was no one there. Next, it was a closet. I slid the right side open so hard it almost jumped the track. Nothing. Exasperated, I slid both doors to the other side a little slower. There he was, standing there in black Calvin Kleins. As he opened his mouth to say something, The motion of my palm and finger sliding across his lips and teeth stopped him cold. Dwayne, I'm so... Joey stammered. You're so wet, Joey. Tears were streaming down my face. Without thinking, I was backing him towards the open doors of the terrace. We were on the 16th floor. Dwayne, listen to me, he pleaded. Babe, please, I'm so... When we got to the railing, I stopped and just stood there, looking at him through my tears, deep into his eyes. I held my stare for a long moment, and then I turned around and I left the room, the hotel in Seattle, Washington. And scene. Should we finish? Should I go into chapter 12? Should I go into chapter 12? Do y'all want me to go into chapter 12? For the ones that are here and gonna type in the chat, put a 1 if you want me to continue to read. Otherwise, I'm gonna stop right here. Put a 1 in the chat and you want me to keep reading. Put a 2 if you want me to stop and we can wait till next week. Do. Oh, I see a yes. do. Okay, well then we're gonna take a break while y'all figuring it out. Okay. Guess what day it is, y'all? Yeah, today is Monday. And we back at it again for another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. So come on in. This week, we'll be reading Love and Gospel Music. What's wrong with telling the damn truth? By your author, Mr. Timothy Blaine. Y'all head on over to Amazon.com and get your books. Download it on your Kindle or just order the paperback. Come on and support our authors, y'all. Love and gospel music. But is it really about love and gospel music? We over here reading, y'all. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe to Almond Brown everywhere. Check the description box to get all the links to his book and also to Mr. Timothy Blaine's YouTube channel. We almost reading, y'all. Are you ready? It's that time. Shh. So I see y'all here for it. I'm here for it too. I was hoping y'all was gonna say 1 because I got to see what's going on. Okay, Joey. Come on, Joey. Chapter 12, honey. Ohio. Hello, it's me. It was the first payphone I'd come across after touching down in my native Cincinnati, Ohio. Dwayne, said my aloof and reclusive mother, a pinch of dread in her voice. What are you doing calling at this hour? It's after 9 o'clock. I'm in town, mother. I'm coming to visit. What? You should have let me know you were coming. I can't see anybody right now. It's too late. I just shampooed the carpet. Well, get out the blow dryer, mother. I'm coming over. What? She was fully engaged now. Where are you anyway? Airport. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Oh, my goodness, she yelled, panic setting in. You should have called before coming here. Why didn't you call? I hung up. I didn't know if I was up to dealing with my mother and all of her various neuroses, but I didn't know where else to go. This was the worst day of my life, and all I could think about was curling up in my old bed in my old bedroom. I wanted to die. I wanted to curl up in the bed of my childhood where I had dreamed all of the dreams of what my life would be like and just die. This felt so like the end of the world for me. How could Joy have done this to us? Our life together was so perfect. Even on my best nights, I never dreamed or consciously thought that I would ever have such a life. And now the man whom I loved and trusted with my heart and my future had thrown it all into the fire. Mm-mm-mm. I'm not at all sure how I feel about the wicked phone call. Obviously, it had changed my world forever, and no doubt for the worse. But then again, how could it be better not to know? How could it be better to go through life like some dingy suburban housewife, waiting for the day when her no good husband shows up announcing that he's leaving her for the babysitter? I've got to hand it to him though. That Joey White is one hell of an actor. Maybe he'll go into the movie business next. I feel so stupid. He told me he was a dog when I met him. So why didn't I believe him? I should have taken that man at his word. Once a dog, always a dog. One thing is certain, I'm not going back to LA right now. Mm-mm. I'll let that dog squirm in his doghouse for a while. Maybe he'll think if he think I jumped off a bridge somewhere and died. Serve him right, the selfish asshole. He probably justifies what he did by blaming me. Since he wouldn't go on the road with me, I found somebody that would. And all the rest of that shallow, self-serving crap, well, maybe I am naive about the ways of men and life on the road, but I'm not so naive as to not know that I need an AIDS test. Of course, like any other self-respecting dog of a man, Joey is going to start off by trying to convince me that this is the first and only time it's happened. Right. And I just happened to walk in on him on the very first time. Please. Nope. On this, I'm very clear. As soon as I touch down in LA, whenever that is, it's right to the HIV testing site. Maybe I got lucky and the prick hasn't killed me. What infuriates me more than anything else is that I never once thought about cheating on him. Joey White was my world. Well, maybe that's not really the truth. Maybe I did think about it from time to time, especially when he was gone for months on end. But I never did it, and that's what counts. Maybe I should have done it. Maybe that's what's wrong with this picture. Maybe monogamy is too much to expect. I've got to admit that Joey has been awful good to me through these 11 plus years. If it weren't for that asshole, whoever it was, calling our house, I probably would have gone on for 11 more in ignorant bliss. Now, everything is turned upside down. Every time I think of Joey with that 22-year-old boy, I want to throw up. This was not just some punk he drug in off the street. Joey and this boy are having some kind of relationship. They've been working and traveling together for months now. Oh, God, I want to die. But I still don't understand why you couldn't simply pick up a telephone and call a person before you show up to their doorstep in the middle of the night, said my bathrobed and fuzzy slippered mother. The large rollers in her hair brought back many memories. That is so rude, Dwayne. I thought I raised you better than that. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that lately. Let's not start in about how you raised me, mother. Aren't you going to invite me in? Talk about being rude. I stepped past her. I am not going to argue with you, she yelled right into my ear as I passed. Why the hell not? I yelled, my own voice quite loud now. You haven't seen me in 8 years, woman. Shouldn't you be covering me with hugs and kisses, asking me what's wrong, sicking the dogs on me, something, anything? I don't have any dogs, she snarled. Very funny. You're just a laugh riot, mother. Do you actually take pleasure out of rejecting and berating us? You think there's something funny about the way you talk to your own sons? Does Sarah fall under your knife too? Or is it just the men folk that you torment? Why are you here? What do you want? I already told you I'm visiting, I said, helping myself to grape juice from the fridge. Please don't ask me that again, mother. It's very irritating. I already know that I'm not wanted. You don't have to keep rubbing it in. You don't have any luggage, she said with a slight sinister smile on her face. I guess you dropped them off at your hotel. Well, that's something, at least. No, I'll be staying here in my old room, mother, I said, taking pleasure in wiping away the evil grin. You need some help getting my bed together? You've become an arrogant little Don't push it, mother. I've been holding an awful lot in for an awful long time. Let's at least try to be civil to each other. Just a few days of misery, and I'll be gone for another 9 or 10 years. Who knows? Maybe you will get lucky and one of us will die before I make it back to Ohio. You make it sound like I'm such a horrible person, she said, a grimace but not a tear. You don't understand. You're right. I don't. I'm tired and I need to lie down. I just don't see what's so hard about a phone call. Damn! Would you just shut up about a damn phone call? Like there's even a slightest chance that you would have said, sure, come home, Dwayne. It'll be good to see you. Please. I'm here now, mother. So get over it. Don't you talk to me like that, boy, she exploded. I won't have it. Not in my own house, and certainly not by you. I'm a grown man now, mother. Nobody hits me anymore. You want me gone? Call the cops. I'm going to bed. I made my way to the bedroom of my childhood, much to my mother's dismay. Hello, Mrs. Jones? Yes, this is Mrs. Jones. Who's this? Joey White. Dwayne's friend, said Grandma in recognition. How are you, son? You calling from California? Mrs. Jones, there's been trouble, said Joey, obviously in tears. I shouldn't be calling your house. It's wrong for me to be calling you, but I don't know what else to do. You're looking for Dwayne? I know that it's wrong to involve you, ma'am. You hardly know me. It's just that he's been gone for a week. All of his clothes are still here. He didn't even take a toothbrush. This is between you and my grandson, Joey. I know. Please, Mrs. Jones. Joey tried to pull himself together. I promise you that I won't show up in Ohio or bother you with this again. I just need to know that he hasn't done something crazy. Maybe if the telephone receiver were to drop on the floor, I could take that to mean that he's safe and with family. Bang! Thank you, ma'am, breathed Joey with a deep sigh. Good luck, young man, said Grandma, and she hung up the phone. She wouldn't tell Dwayne about the call. She had learned just to stay out of things years ago. But inside, she knew she would be silently rooting for Joey. She liked him, she thought to herself. He was a nice young man. Well, it's been a week now, said my mother. You ready to tell me what this is all about? Trust me, you don't want to know, I replied, smearing grape jelly on my buttery toast. This sure is good breakfast. I don't remember eating like this when I lived here. Must have had something to do with the 2 jobs I had to work for almost 9 years, she said, expressionless. You make it sound like that was somehow my fault, mother. You make a lot of things sound like that. Are you even aware of how you sound to other people? I'm just stating the facts. I had to work hard. Boy, you just don't know. A lot of black people had to work hard, mother. Believe it or not, you're not the only one. I wish we could have asked a slave woman about hard work and no respect. Everything is a joke to you, she said, suddenly peering at me as if she really thought that I had done something awful to her. Do I look like I'm laughing? I said, looking right back at her scowling face. A lot of women, black or otherwise, have had a hard time, mother. That doesn't mean that they turn against their own children or hold them responsible. Believe it or not, some women actually love their kids. You're not a kid anymore, boy. Grow up. She threw the empty dishes into her badly chipped porcelain sink, and then she spun around to look me straight in the eye. Dwayne, look at me. I mean, really, look at me. Take a good, hard look at your mother. I see you, I said, not wanting to sound sarcastic, not wanting her to stop talking. I see what you show me, mother. Everybody knows that I've got some problems, she went on. I always have had. I know how they talk about me. When I was a little girl, I was known by many of the other kids as old crazy Karen. Sometimes I feel like I got a bad case of diaper rash when I was a baby, and it never went away. Now try to imagine a person like me with two young boys, a baby, at least one full time job, and a man at home who beats her. That's a lot, I said, preparing to listen. It sounded like my mother was finally going to talk to me. Are you saying that you've got emotional problems, mother? What do you think? She snapped. My opinion is not important. What is important is what you speak out of your own mouth. I've already said that I've got some problems. You could get some help. Times have changed, mother. You could see somebody. A professional, I mean. You think I haven't already tried that, Dwayne? You think I actually like being the way that I am? There's so much that you don't understand about me. I've been a painfully private person my whole life. That's why I wish you had called first. Don't start that again, I exploded. I wish you could make yourself understand how your rejection hurts us. No father to speak of. Do you even have a clue what your unrelenting selfishness and nastiness does to Johnny and me? Yes, we are grown men. Damn it, mama, where are your sons? The doctor says I'm bipolar, she said quietly, wringing her hands in her lap. Whatever hell that's supposed to mean. Bunch of quacks. Then they start in about all the drugs I should be taking. You seen more than one? I asked with sincere surprise. It never occurred to me that my mother would ever have spoken with a doctor, let alone a mental health doctor, about her, well, issues. It surprised me even that she thought or would even admit that she had a problem. I'm 50 years old, Dwayne. Yes, I've seen more than one psychiatrist in my lifetime. Every one of them adds a little something to the diagnosis, but they all agree about the bipolar. They used to say manic depressive disorder. Now it's bipolar. Bunch of quacks. Well, one thing is certain. I'm not taking any more of those damn pills. They don't help you at all? Did you even give them a chance, mother? I heard somewhere that you have to take psych medication for a while for them to do any. Look, the only thing that does me a bit of good is being left alone. I just wish I could make people understand that. Seems like I've been trying to get people to understand that about me since I was a little girl. I just want to be left alone. Is that too much to ask? Yes, it sure the hell is, I snapped, regretting immediately that I raised my voice. The one thing that I didn't want was for my mother to stop talking. It was, however, hard for me to keep my emotions in check. I had been angry with her for so long, but I did try. If being left alone was the desire of your heart, you should have thought about that before you started dropping babies. I'm so sick of hearing about what a burden I was and am to you. You've already lost Johnny forever, and you're pushing it with me, mother. You really, really are. How is he? Your brother? She asked, shifting gears again. I couldn't keep up. She was loud, defensive, and bitter one minute, then quiet and almost childlike the next. It was like riding a roller coaster. Johnny is fine. In fact, he's turned out to be a great man. Senior pastor of a wonderful church, a newlywed husband, and now there's going to be a baby. He hates me, she said flatly. Funny, that's the same thing he says about you. Actually, it's not funny at all. There's not a damn thing funny about the way things are in this family. If you want to know the truth, I think it's a damn shame that this is only a biological family. What is funny is that you expect me and the whole damn world to accept you for who you and what you are. But it's so easy for you to just blow off what I just told you about myself. I'm with you. Hmm. You think I'm just kidding around when I tell you that I've been struggling with mental illness for most of my life? I did the best that I could. Nobody's blowing anything off, mother. I said, feeling like a deer caught in the headlights of a fast moving bus. You know I'm gay? Yes, I know you're gay. I guess that's my fault too. Everything is my damn fault. Johnny's not gay. We're only 2 years apart. If it was something that you did, we would both have turned out the same way. No, you get a pass on that one, mother. Well, I sure don't hate your brother, and I don't hate you either, Dwayne. I know it's horrible the way I keep pushing you away, son, and yet I can't seem to help it. One minute I'm feeling fine, just like I am right now. Next thing I know, I'm flying all over the place, cleaning house like a paid servant, working in the yard until the sun is long gone, even thinking about what I'm going to say when I finally call one of my kids. And then a few hours later, I feel like the sky is falling, and all I can think about is protecting myself. This life is so damn hard for me, Dwayne. Boy, you just don't know. What about God, mother? I mean, for as far back as I can remember, pretty close to everybody in this family has been holding on to faith. That's a long story, she said, getting up from the eating and breakfast table where we had been sitting and talking for a good part of the morning. I've got nowhere to go, I said, wiping and putting away the ancient placemat she still used. Tell me the story, mother. You never once went to church with us. Why was that? Well, maybe you have nowhere to go, Dwayne, but I got a job. Maybe we can talk later, I said as she left the kitchen. And scene. So we're going to stop right there. We're actually in the middle of chapter 12, but there are about 20 more pages to go before we get to the end. And my mouth's dry. But yeah, so that was chapter 11 and half of 12 of Love and Gospel Music, honey. What's wrong with telling the damn truth? I'm going to drop the link. Oh, Lord. I don't know. Should I? Help me, Lord Jesus. Protect this platform, Lord. Anybody can come. You can come up here and say what you need to say. We can talk about the book. But now we see, and as I'm talking, if you would like to please drop the chocolate and the sun emojis in the chat. That represents the love and the light that we give each other over here. But so now we see that, mother, we see why she acts the way that she does. Sis has bipolar, manic depressive disorder, all kind of stuff, whatever name they want to put on it. She has it, but she don't want to take her medication. She just want to be left alone. So now I kind of feel sorry that we was talking real bad about the mama because she actually has issues. And we do know, like she said, how can you sit up here and blow off what I just said and still worried about y'all? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can worry about each other together. But he said he wasn't blowing her off. But I mean, I felt like he did. Dwayne. I feel like he did. But that was hilarious. I don't care how he showed up. He was like, no, you're going to answer this door. I'm coming to this house. You going to answer this door, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go to sleep in my bed. What's up? And then talking about that's the best breakfast he ever had. Ooh, honey, the shade. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week. Like I said, we do see now that Dwayne's mother, Dwayne and Johnny and Sarah's mother does have bipolar disorder. So that is why she has not been able to embrace them and love on them because she really don't know how to love herself. She's up one minute and down the next. So now that he asked her about church and she's never been, I can only imagine why she hasn't been if she was even able to go. But we will see what is, what happens next week. So next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back with another read. But what y'all think about Joey? What do y'all think about Joey? Because he was right. Joey did tell him he had a thing and he had an appetite for sex. And so, he felt like him going to see a therapist, it helped him to not want to have sex or whatnot. But that was just him not want to have sex with Dwayne. So we see it didn't pertain to Dwayne. He was trying to get help from having sex with other people. But we see that ain't work now. Baby, he done caught the boy in the closet. All I could think about was that R. Kelly trapped in the closet child when he opened up that door. Baby boy was trapped in the closet. Okay. Woo. So we're going to see what Dwayne actually does. And Joey knows that Dwayne is safe. But what is Johnny going to do when he finds out? Because he was ready to lay hands on his sister's husband if he found out that he was beating on her. So I can only imagine what Johnny is going to do when he finds out about what Dwayne and Joey has been going through, the senior pastor of One Love, Ministries. But you seen that coming, Melissa? Did you? I ain't gonna say I didn't see it coming. Not with Joey. I really thought Joey was like the one. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he slid back. So we'll see what next week what he has going on. If you have made it this far into the broadcast and you have not subscribed to Almond Brown 09, I'll ask you why. I know you enjoyed this read, and if you are just coming here for the first time, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get all of my uploads, and check out the other books that I have read of Mr. Timothy Blaine. Is The Epiphany, is in a playlist, but wait until after I finish this book, and then you can go to that one, because it's all in a series together. They all go hand in hand, although The Epiphany can be a standalone book, but you guys will enjoy that too. Or you can listen to it on my podcast. Let me see. Anchor.fm/Almond Brown 09. I don't have a moderator here to drop it right now. Let's see if it'll come up. Anchor.fm/Almond Brown 09. That is where you can find my podcast, and you can listen to my book in your car. You can listen to me read in the car. I also have other shows over there. And if you want to do you have a topic that you want to talk about with me on the podcast, we can set that up as well. If you are an author or an author, then have them email me at almondbrown09@gmail.com if you want your books read down here to the corner. Honey, we have fun down here to the corner. It's very relaxing for us to just sit here and listen. And baby, I got to see what's going on with his mama, honey. I feel so bad for talking about the mama, but nevertheless. Also, you can go over to instagram.com /Almond Brown 09. You can follow me over there as well. If you would like to join the membership, I will drop the link for the membership. It's appreciated but not required. If you would like to support this channel by joining the membership, you can do so here. I would appreciate it if you did. If you did not, I appreciate you anyways. But yeah, I think that's it. So y'all come back here next Monday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We back down here to the corner. And they come down here, sit Indian style with your hands in your lap so we can figure out what's going on, baby. Like we in the library. Baby, we sitting in a semicircle. Come in. Let me read to you. Also on Friday nights, we have a Friday night red light special with my girl, Miss Jada LaRue, who is in the chat. Also with my girl, Shadia Love and Libra. And I do not know if, Jada, if you still here, did you do your live at 7:00? I do not know. I did not get my notification. I set my alarm. Oh no, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Oh, you said the 29th. Girl, what did that? You moved it. I can't do you. Anyways, y'all go and subscribe to Jada and turn your notifications on for all of her lives that she has set. But check the description box below for all of the information that you will need to download this book or buy any other book by Mr. Timothy Blaine. He does have 5 books available on Amazon as well as Kindle, and his book Meth Monster is available on Audible. So you can go ahead and go there and check out all of his books. But I appreciate you guys for joining my read. Hello, Demetra. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Please red ball back to check out the reading. Baby, you will be thoroughly shocked. But I will talk to you guys later on another live. I appreciate you guys for joining me once more. And again, thank you all for joining me on this Monday night and giving me your time. And as I always tell you guys, smile at somebody. It'll change their day. It may even change your day, honey. Even with a mask on, they can still see it in your eyes. I love you guys with the love of God. And there is what? Nothing you can do about it. I'll talk to y'all later, child. Bye. Thank you all for joining another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. I pray that you enjoyed yourself and you're relaxing your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. Come back and join us again next week as we continue our reading. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Be blessed and enjoy your evening.